So this is the Wabashiki Fish and Wildlife Area, and a lot of us call it the Wabashiki Wetlands. I'm off of Dewey Point, right when you come into West Terre Haute. If you're heading west, on the left-hand side, there's a nice shelter, a parking lot, and we have the scopes out there so you can see this area. When you're looking at the scopes, if you look straight ahead, you see a cottonwood tree, a dead old tree, that is a common place for eagles to hang out. If you go to the right a little bit, so on a clock, it'd be about 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, you're going to see normally what looks like a small lake or a large pond. Well, I'm standing in it right now. And this is kind of concerning, but something that I'd like to share with you, basically some things about this. Since the first week of June, our Wabash River has been less than 5 feet, with the exception of a couple days where it peaked and then came back down because of heavy rainfall or precipitation events. Well, our average in the last almost 2 months has been between 3 and 4 feet. Now that gauge has been brought up in the last, I think, 3 years when they put the new gauge on the Wabash River. So what that means to a lot of us is we're at about a 1-foot river. Now our wetlands, our Wabashiki Fish and Wildlife Area wetlands, are really unique. They fill by seep water, and what that means is as the river comes up, the water comes through the ground and percolates back up to where we are right now. And actually where you see a lot of the green area, that gets water in there too. Now that takes about an 11-foot river on our USGS gauge at Terre Haute. So if the river's at about 11 foot and if it's hanging out there for a couple days, water will come in naturally through the ground, through the sediment, through everything I'm standing on right now, and it'll come up and it'll fill this area. Since this area became an actual wetlands, I don't recall this ever being dry. So today is October, I think, 2nd, and it's about 80 degrees out, which is kind of unusual. I think it's actually about 85, and there's absolutely no water in here. And if you walk the walkway along here, an area where you'd commonly see bald eagles, you haven't seen any for several months. Here's why. This area right here, this is their pool where they catch fish. It's unfortunately full, of silver carp. There's also gar, but eagles really don't care for those as much. There's mussels and there's other kind of species in here that eagles like to eat. Well, there's no food for them, so the eagles aren't here. This is just a small section of the approximately 8,000 acres that we call the Wabashiki Fish and Wildlife Area here in Vigo County. So I want to show you a couple things. I didn't realize mussels were in this area. This has to be the largest mussel shell that I've ever found in my times on the Wabash River. Now, we're not on the river, we're a little ways from it. Something to note, Sugar Creek, Vigo County, which goes through West Terre Haute, Sugar Creek Township, and goes into the Wabash River south of I-70. Sugar Creek can feed this area because of a levee break further away from where we are right now. But when that creek is dry, water doesn't come in here. So mussels could have gotten here for many reasons. I hate to say this, I've seen what I'm going to guess is probably about 1,000 mussel shells, and they're almost all around this size. This is the largest one that I found. They're everywhere. They're peeking up through the dirt, through the cracks, and I'll post some pictures. I'll post a picture right here so you can see some. Now, silver carp. It's going to be a common theme here, thousands. I will bet I've seen between 1 and 2,000 dead silver carp. All of them seem to be pretty good size. I will guess 12 to 20 pounds. They're all over the area. There's been a couple spots where I've seen what look to be coyote tracks or large dog tracks through here. Otherwise, there's no signs that any animals have been feasting on them. This is really crazy. Check this out. And I hope you can see it well enough. This is a gar. I think he's probably a long-nosed gar. They're everywhere. There's a pool, and I'll post pictures as I talk here. There's a pool, a low section over here, and I thought, well, that's my destination. I want to see what's in there. If I were to say 1,000 gar, I'm probably a little high, but there's easily 500 gar in there. Something very bizarre though, most of them don't have their heads. I only found a few as I was walking through that have their heads. So this is an issue in that our wetlands aren't really wetlands right now. The ground's all dried up. I'd say there's probably moisture maybe 8 to 10 inches down. I didn't bring a shovel to check, and this does adversely affect our ecosystem. A lot of talk about the erosion issues at Fairbanks Park, where you see what looks like to be a beach in the river. That's because of bank erosion. When you have situations like this where it's dry for a long time, that soil, that sediment, doesn't have moisture to hang on to it and keep it together. One of the worst things that could happen right now is if we have a super strong rainfall event. If we get a couple inches of rain, this place is going to be tore up. Now it'll recover. It does need moisture for sure. But if we have a fast moving river, it's going to pull that bank apart more. Fairbanks Park right over here to my east, it's going to have more damage along there. And you know, things are just off right now. So I just wanted to come out here and show you the Wabashiki Wetlands Fish and Wildlife area to kind of give you an idea as what's going on here in the area right off of Dewey Point. So if you find this stuff interesting, please share it with your friends. This is definitely something for us to talk about and try to figure out why all this is happening. All right, see you later.